You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, so let's get started. Hold up. Wait a minute. With Nico.
Hi, and how the heck are you?
Oh, I'm good.
This is Nico from Idaho, driving home after work. Tuesday night. My son is visiting. He did like a quick impromptu visit from California for Christmas.
Nice.
So he wants his favorite dinner for me to cook him tonight, so I'm making him taco burgers. Affected. Over the last few years, and if you do it right, and by right I mean like the way I do it, it's one of the best things you've ever had in your life. It'll change your life.
Okay.
I'm sure you've seen where people do them online.
Yep.
And you know what? Mine were like theirs for a long time. So I don't know if I told you this, I actually have a food cart that I do on the weekends. And it's one of the things I sell. Everyone loves them. When people are like, I don't know what I get. Well, let's try this. It's not the most expensive thing on the menu, but it's the thing that'll make you want to be my best friend. And everyone agrees wholeheartedly. I'll send you a picture. It's taking the best of two things and
I don't know why everything you said just reminded me of Donald Trump. I don't know if anybody else got some of that. Everything is the greatest ever. The greatest thing. Everybody wants to be my friend. Everybody loves me because it's the greatest. I don't know.
making them one, you know. It's just amazing. Anyways, so I'm going to get all the ingredients to make it fresh. So how you doing?
Good.
Right? Hey, I'm still happy.
Yeah.
I've just started listening to the After Dark that you finally made after Sunday, and I get it. You know what? I was kind of like, ooh, I kind of hope you don't play the stuff during game day, because I was somewhat confident, even though we were getting just. I mean, I was confident up until like, you know, third quarter, middle of the third quarter, and I was like, oh, this is bad. But I don't know if it's the severe trauma that I had in the past. You know, the loss of the Super Bowl to the Broncos still hits me. I don't need to go through the list, but I will.
Okay.
You know, the Fail Mary, the frickin' the Brian Bostic missing the onside kick. I can add this one missing the onside kick. You know, Larry Fitzgerald ripping my heart out in 2015. You know, I mean, just maybe I've developed, and it could be because I'm getting older, and the NFL I hate sometimes because they're stupid. I don't get quite as emotional on a loss. I do at the time, but like 5 minutes later, I'm good. So like, if you played my calls from Sunday, I made a lot of them. I don't remember what I know. I was like literally waxing eloquent on Malik Willis because dude just played trick. I remember when Matt Flynn had a game like that last season, last game of the year. I think it was 2011. I'm not sure. And I'm definitely not a Sea Chicken fan. But when he went there and got a bag, I was like, you know what? Good for him. Good for him. Oh, my goodness. Look what time it is.
Part 2.
So I was glad when Matt Flynn got paid. I hope that if Malik Willis does go somewhere, he doesn't do what Matt did and kind of get sat down instantly. I also wish he would have done this, you know, before the trade deadline, because that would have been cool. But, you know, and we all know this, he's a good dude, giving clothing away to homeless people. Anytime there's a good person in the NFL, and there are some of them, I salute them and hope they have, you know, a good, fruitful, blessed career the rest of their life, even if they play for a team I don't like. But yeah, I'm glad you're not playing those calls from the game, because that was bad. And to be honest, if I heard what I was saying, I would be like, because I've moved on from my anger that day. I don't really know what to say other than, you know what? It is what it is. I mean, geez, it won't be the first time we don't win the Super Bowl, even with high expectations, which, golly gee willikers, if we didn't start the season like we did, because let's face it, that's the way to start, just pounding two good teams, even if one of them isn't good and the other one isn't as good. They thought they were week 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Lord, all I can say is I just hope we make improvements, offensive line, and wherever else we may need them. And if people could not just get injured all year, that'd be cool.
Be nice.
I'm kind of like politically, I've kind of backed off because I hate politics. I hate how divisive it is. No matter what I think about issues, it's really the people I hate are just the people in charge. Most of the people aren't that bad. But football used to be enjoyable, You'd just be glad if your team won 10 games and squeaked into the playoffs or 9 games. And it's like the Patriots have made us all think if we don't win the Super Bowl every year, it's a wasted season. And that's unfortunate. If that's how you fan, I feel sorry for you. I have so many memories of victories from Rodgers and that other guy, Brett Favre, that weren't Super Bowl wins, but they were still great. The money game, that is such an amazing game. And it wasn't for a Super Bowl or a playoff win, So anyways, I'm still going to be a Packer fan. I don't even want to talk about football now because what is there to talk about? I don't know. Just say, you know what? Go Pack, go. I'll send you a picture of my Dactyl burger.
Okay.
And you have a wonderful evening, sir. Peace out.
All right. Well, let's see. That was an hour ago you called. I don't see any pictures about a taco burger. Could be wrong. Maybe I just missed it, but I don't see it. So maybe get on that. You know what I'm talking about? Beer cheese, what's going on?
Travon Diggs, huh? What do you think about that?
No.
If he became a Packer, his buddies with Parsons.
No.
I wonder if Parsons is on the phone with Goot, like, hey, go get my bro.
He probably is.
Go get my bro. Get his ass to Green Bay, man.
Yeah, not doing
I wonder if he's doing that, man. But no, it's not going to happen, guys. I see it immediately, and I thought of it immediately too. But get it out of your head. Get it out of your freaking head.
Okay.
Dude's not going to do it, and we probably won't get him in waivers, and he will definitely not go unclaimed through waivers, and somebody else will pick him up. So, I want to let y'all know to get it out of your heads, okay?
All right. Got it out of my head. Well, I'm not going to cut in front of tomorrow's podcast, obviously cover this, but suffice it to say, as I always say, dude was waived for a reason. There are no dominant players that NFL teams are just like, meh, don't really feel like winning anymore. Don't really like this anymore. This is stupid. So you just go ahead and leave. It's not a thing. There's a reason. The question is, what's the reason? And honestly, it doesn't really matter because if it culminates into a team saying, I don't even want you on my bench, I don't want you in this facility, I want you out of here, it's probably going to be relatively serious. Just a thought.
Hi, this is Jared from Texas.
What's up?
And so I've been listening to a little bit of the Packernet podcast, and
How dare you?
apparently Andy Herman doesn't think that we're going to keep Rashaan Gary after this year, like move on from him. And I'm just like, I don't know why you're thinking that. Maybe that's why a lot of people are disliking Rashaan Gary right now, because a couple of big heads in Packer space are saying, nah, we're going to move on from him, whatever. I don't know. I mean, it's too early to really worry about this type of stuff anyways, but I just don't see that happening. But yeah, go Pack, go.
I haven't looked into that. I know it's I don't even want to say it's common. It's basically unanimous. It's not just like the negative fans who are pumping stuff. It's everybody is spending all of their time detailing how much they dislike Rashaan Gary. There's some stuff out there that I'm interested in looking at. There was an article somebody did. I know one of the things is about quick pressures, which I saw that before, and I didn't really dig into it. I just saw that it was a thing. And it does matter. I mean, quick pressures are important insofar as, it's not really that impressive if you get to a guy after 5 seconds. You know what I mean? It's a coverage sack. But anyways, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to move on from Rashaan after this year or not. It's hard to imagine just from a standpoint of, I mean, what I mean, the biggest thing is going to be the contract, I think. There's no reason to hurt yourself to push him out the door. If you can help yourself, then maybe there's an argument to be had. I mean, they're already not really playing him. So, if you got Van Ness and I can never, ever in my life remember Micah Parsons' name. Ever. I will never, for any reason, ever remember his name. Yeah, maybe you feel okay. You got those two plus Kingsley. Obviously, you guys like a lot. So you got three that you like. So maybe, especially with some of the contractual things coming up, the amount of money that's being spent on Jordan and Micah and everything. I don't know. I haven't spent a lot of time looking into that, so I don't really have an opinion one way or another. I like Rashaan, as I've said. I like his work ethic. I've always liked his attitude and everything since he's been here. I think his stats are significantly better than what everybody would acknowledge. Again, the quick pressure thing I think is important, but I mean, people don't even acknowledge his pressures at all. They don't acknowledge he didn't do anything in the games. He did more than everybody else on the team, so I don't know what you're talking about. But that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to stay. So I don't know. That'll be something to look into at some point. That point is not today.
Hey, Ryan, TJ from Alabama. Been listening, not been calling too much. And I kind of just listening and thinking and end of the year stuff as we head towards week 18. I'm kind of numb a little bit at this moment to this season. I mean, after, started out, balls of fire, even when we had some losses and the Cleveland and yada yada, still was really excited. And then after repeated kicks in the newts with Tucker and then DY and then obviously Micah, it's like, I'm obviously still engaged, but it's also a little numb. Definitely not getting super high or super low even after the losses. Just with the injuries and then with the repeated errors that we see, just the dumb stuff that, the game could be each individual game that we lost could be so easily different with just a couple of things, either catch an interception or don't completely shoot your foot off type of stuff. And I'm trying to listen to Packernet, listen to you, and trying to get myself back. We're going to be in the playoffs. So, trying to turn that around and say, no, let's all right, regular season, just about done. Let's ramp up. Let's get the attitude right, and let's go in there. Because, while this has been, to me, a very kind of funky and weird season, I look at it, and every team in the NFC is flawed.
Yeah.
I don't see – I mean, hell, if you would have asked me a few weeks ago, I would have said the Rams
I was just going to bring that up.
Solid, but hell,
Were they lose 2 of their last 3?
Their toe, lost to Atlanta, and they haven't looked that awesome either.
Right.
So it seems like every team is flawed. I really could see us going to Philly or going to Chicago and winning. Yes, I'm definitely concerned about the O-line. That's probably the part of the team that it concerns me the most, followed by the defensive line and cornerbacks. But I don't think there's one team that I honestly think that, I'm not saying we should be favored, but there's not one team that would shock me if we beat. So what the hell? Let's go in and let's make a run at it. Get our head right, get it screwed on right, come out firing. I think the offense absolutely can do it, and let's see. Then last question for you. If you had to choose Malik Willis or Kyler Murray to Minnesota, which one would you choose if one of those two had to go to Minnesota? That's it. Thanks, Ryan. Bye.
Kyler Murray doesn't scare me. He never really has. I've talked down to him, I think, every time we've played him, and I think we've beaten him every time we've played him. He's very flawed. his running ability is not actually as good as a lot of people think. He's fast, but his ability to use it is not nearly as good. The potential upside of Malik, although it's possible that it's all a fluke and he's going to be terrible and we can all laugh, I'm not scared of Kyler Murray, and he's going to cost more money. So you're basically setting a hard ceiling on what you can be. And granted, Minnesota, they do a pretty good job of getting more, but I don't know that that guy has the greatest work ethic either. So you get what you put in kind of thing. Whereas Malik is another guy with, very high character and everything that I would expect to maximize. So yeah, it's Kyler Murray would be the one that I would prefer to Minnesota would be my answer. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Ryan, it's our list.
What's up, dude?
Just wanted to check in. Just thinking about, I've been thinking a lot about Rashaan Gary still. And I think I made a call before about Rashaan Gary, but just thinking about, do you remember when Parsons, earlier in the season, he kept hyping up Lucas Van Ness and hyping up, Wyatt. But I don't ever recall him ever mentioning Rashaan Gary, ever. And I just think it's kind of interesting because as the season's going on, even when Rashaan was getting those sacks, basically when Micah Parsons was gift wrapping him sacks, when literally he was chasing quarterbacks into Rashaan Gary's lap. I don't recall, and I watched almost every post game. I don't recall Parsons ever giving love to Rashaan Gary, and it makes me wonder what he saw, on the practice field and in the locker room and in the weight room. If maybe he just felt that and then so this is my opinion, but I'm wondering if he never showed him that love because maybe there's something about Rashaan where he is a workhorse. He is he's motivated, in his own way. He's a workhorse, but maybe from what we see, Rashaan has been in the league for a while. He's on his second contract with the Packers, and he's done nothing to develop his pass rush skills. He's still bull rushing. He doesn't have a move. He's not finishing. Pressures are there, but at some point you got to finish, right? And I know sacks aren't everything, but sacks are also not nothing, a double negative. You know what I'm trying to say. But I was just thinking about that. And now looking at Gary's almost is limited to third and long. And I don't know. I don't know. I just something about Rashaan Gary, man. I've never been the biggest fan. And now that he is, for all intents and purposes, benched, barely on the field, I'm just wondering if the coaching staff is seeing it too. Wondering if Rashaan Gary saw it, a while ago. But yeah, man, them is just my thoughts, man. Yeah, I just really hope Gary's not here next year. And I know there's a lot of defense of him saying he's only been asked to pass for limited snaps. It doesn't matter, man. The impact is next to nothing.
Yeah, as far as the Micah Parsons comments, I do remember that. I can think of, a dozen different reasons why. It's possible that maybe it's because he just didn't think he was that good. It's possible too that it's a personality thing. Rashawn's kind of cocky or whatever, so he's just kind of screw that guy and hypes up the other guy as sort of a passive aggressive way. It could be because Rashaan already got paid, and so this is the guy that they're, kind of rallying around to be we're going to get you where you need to be, kind of thing. There's a lot of different things that it could be. I don't know. But I don't know, man. I feel like there's certain things where there's kind of where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe that's the wrong way to phrase it, but you kind of see the writing on the wall with Rashaan a little bit. insofar as it doesn't really matter what I think. I mean, when the team paid you all that money and then they don't use you, whether it's because they just don't trust you outside of third down or because, it's an injury-related thing or what, it kind of doesn't matter. I mean, if you're paid that much money, you should be utilized more than what you are. Again, that's been my biggest issue, more so than a lot of the other stuff. But I don't know. It just gives me a feeling that things are kind of negative. If I had to pick sort of where the team is, as opposed to just where the fans and media are. It also kind of has me thinking that way about Matt LaFleur as far as that last call, talking about the team and feeling down and all that kind of stuff. Because I feel that way too. I've mentioned that before. I can't really explain it, why I feel as down as I do. I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one. It feels irrational, I shouldn't be as negative, and it's not just about the present. It feels like something's wrong as far as the future and everything, and it doesn't really matter in terms of reality because I'm just talking about a random person's feelings about an issue, but it's not just me, as we're learning by other people calling in and whatnot, and I can't imagine it's just the fans either. I mean, that's the other thing to think about too is, sometimes you look at it and it's like, just because the fans think it doesn't necessarily mean anything. That's true. But I mean, Ed Policy is also just a human being. And I don't know what his feelings are. He might be somebody that's like, no, I love these guys and all this other. He might have never, he might be in line with a lot of other fans where it's like, I've never liked this guy. I've never thought he was that good. I've never, you know what I mean? I don't know, but it kind of, the more that goes on, you look at it and you just look at how down and defeated everything feels right now. I mean, we're very close to a playoff run, and I mean, I'm having a hard time keeping everybody else, myself included to some degree, engaged. I mean, I got people calling being like, I don't know, I just don't care. It's like, guys, don't leave me. You guys abandoned me for the entire postseason, some of you. You can't leave me now. A week out before we go to the playoffs? You can't do that. That ain't right. But again, it's kind of, that shouldn't be the case. And it is. And maybe it's just whiny nonsense and it doesn't mean anything and nobody actually cares as far as, policy or whatever. But maybe it is something. I don't know. I imagine it's not just us, and if it's not just us, then there are going to be some players, and there are going to be some coaches, and there are going to be some front office people. I mean, it's not going to be unanimous in anything, and there's going to be voices that feel a certain kind of way, as some are more positive, some are going to be more negative, and it's just a question of, the more these games go on, the more people turn, and more people become negative, and the more people become negative, it becomes sort of this effect that takes place as, it's a downward spiral sort of being a negative voice that kind of pollutes everybody else's thoughts on things. The more you hear it, even if you're trying to stay, a certain kind of way, after a while, it's like, you know what, maybe I am done. Maybe I am out. Maybe I don't like it. So, I don't know. I always have this instinct of not wanting to overreact. And anytime something happens, it's like, oh, don't overreact. But sometimes you can take that too far too and just be like, oh, that'll never happen. That's not going to happen. That's not the normal thing. Well, sometimes the crazy thing does happen. You know what I mean? Sometimes the thing you don't really expect and don't think is going to happen is exactly the thing that happens. Come on, play, I said. I say.
Ryan, Dana from California. I want to rest the starters. We have enough players on this team currently that I want to see them.
Sure.
I want to see Golden be the only receiver out there.
Take everybody away
all
from
the targets. I want to see Savion being the gadget guy, getting put him at running back, do everything. I want to see everything that guy has. Put Malik out there if his shoulder is fine. I don't want to injure him, because if something happens in the playoffs, I would like to have a good quarterback to fall back on. But I don't want to put Love out there either, so I don't know if this is a Clayton Tune game or what. If Malik is like 75...
I can tell you right now, if it's a Clayton Tune game, just sit everybody and forfeit. No offense, Mr. Tune, but that ain't... Then again, their quarterback is also Clayton Tune-ish, so maybe we'll see what happens.
10% or worse, don't put him out there and just make it a Clayton Tune game. But I want to see Golden. I want to see Savion out there. I want to see Colin Oliver on the field.
Yeah.
He's the only pass rusher we haven't seen. They called him Baby Micah in practice. I want to see it. Put them all out there. We don't need to win this game. The Eagles, yes, they were an amazing super stack roster last year, but they rested their starters and they ended up going on a run and winning Super Bowl. So I want to see that same thing. I want to see us rest our starters, and I don't want any injuries. Zach Tom better not even suit up. I don't care. I don't want to see it. All right, I want to see our backups go destroy the Vikings, even though the Vikings are probably good. But that and just to talk about a recent call I had. Matt LaFleur, dude, he's a good coach, right? And the whole thing is, it's you got this energy of all these other teams where it's they just find a way to dig deep and just get it done all the time. And our only recipe is we have to win with a lead, and occasionally we can't come back, but we don't just have that killer mentality where we just know how to win no matter what. And I don't know I don't know if that's from the quarterback. I don't know if that I just want more of that where it doesn't matter what we're put what position we're put into. I just want to be able to find a way to win, no matter what the obstacle is. And I don't know if that's roster diversity. We have roster diversity, so just a combination of issues. To me, I see that it's a coaching thing. I'm not saying replace LaFleur. I'm saying if we continue to melt down with the quality of roster we have, then it's hot seat time 2026. But that's all I got. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, I mean that's postseason football, man. That's what you're going to need. There's no easy games. I shouldn't say no. I mean there are blowouts and stuff, but you can't expect that. You have to expect at some point throughout the postseason you're going to have a tough run. You're going to have a team that's just bludgeoning you. You know, that moment when you're met with resistance and you that thought just hits you of I don't think I can overcome this. I don't think I'm strong enough to lift this weight. Are you going to cower and shrink away from the moment, or are you going to rise to that occasion? And that's where again you got to have those emotionless freaking robots that just are unfazed. And they're just I don't know, dude, I'm just here just doing my job. I don't know what you want from me. I'm not scared. I'm not worried or intimidated or anything. I'm just doing what I always do. It's just another freaking Sunday for me. So we need that. And again, I know emotion is a good thing. I don't want to remove that, but we need guys, and maybe it's just a veteran thing to be able to have that ability to balance emotion and just also that sort of do your job kind of mentality. I don't know what it's going to take. Okay, we're caught up with all the newest calls. We'll have to go back to Monday and Sunday calls here. There's also a request that I play a call, so we'll do that on the other side. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Ryan. This is Kyle from Madison.
What's up, dude?
Hey, Packer Nation. This is going to be, I'm going to split this up into two calls. This is going to be a little bit different call than I normally make for you. But Ryan, you were talking on Christmas about how it's a difficult time of year for some people. And, I was thinking, gee, it's not for me, but I can see how that would be. And, yesterday was my birthday, and everybody was at the house, and unfortunately my stepfather he didn't wake up. He passed away in his sleep. I know you've mentioned your stepfather several times as how important he was to you, or is to you. And that's how my stepfather was. He was a young guy. I mean, he was 71. He was in peak physical condition. We don't know what happened. It was, as you can imagine, it was a nightmare. And Douglas was his name. And if you don't mind me using your platform to just bear a little testimony to him, because he's the one. I mean, I wouldn't be the Packer fan I am today, or the man I am today, if it wasn't for him. But it was his passion for the team that, and us watching every game together. We'd go to church, and then we'd come back, and it was Packer time. And, getting to watch us transition from, Mikowski into those Favre years together, it was so amazing. And, yeah, I mean, it's been awful. And I'm trying to transition to that. It's been 24 hours, but I'm trying to be grateful, for the time we had. But it's hard early. So, if any of you are the praying type and you want to just say something for the greatest man I ever met, who just also happened to be one of my fathers. His name is Doug, and your prayers would be, yeah, I'd appreciate him. Anyway, we had tickets to go to the game tonight, and I remember watching the night Favre played after his father died. Douglas and I watched that game with tears coming down our eyes, and he even had written in my birthday card before he passed away that, have fun at the game. So my family decided, you need to go. So my nephew and I went to that game tonight, and I wish it could have turned out better, but we went. We went to celebrate Douglas and just returned. So I just want to share that with all you, and I'll call back and talk about the game, I guess.
Well, I am sorry to hear that, and obviously I don't have any words of inspiration. I don't think you were calling for them, but I'm glad you were able to have an opportunity to get that off your chest. It does feel good, and I think it's important to verbalize those things as a tribute. It's hard, man. It's crazy how life just kind of goes on, and you're just kind of in autopilot mode, and then something like that happens, and it just kind of wakes you up and out of this. It's almost like you're in a deep sleep all the time. Anybody else kind of feel that way? You go to a funeral and you're like, holy crap, this is real life. I've been sleeping this whole time. Just in terms of what actually matters in life and whatnot, I don't know if we just hide from it or what. But you're very fortunate to have somebody like that in your life, and it's definitely a blessing for those of us that are fortunate enough to have people like that, whether they raised us, helped raise us, or were just in some way around us. I suppose in one way it's not as much a loss as it is just an end of a blessing, So, appreciate you sharing that, Kyle.
Yeah, so that wasn't exactly the game I was hoping we were going to see,
Mm-hmm.
But defense that bad isn't even divine intervention of a lost loved one isn't enough to stop. I don't want to just say Henry, because I'll be honest with you, man. We had some seats. I had never sat in the 700 series seats, which is the new upper deck.
Okay.
And they're actually pretty cool. It's a totally different vibe, but you're way up in the end zone, and so basically you're watching the all 22.
Yeah.
So that was actually really cool. We had dead center all 22 seats. So we got to see the whole thing in gory detail. And I'm going to tell you what, Henry is amazing. You could have put 25 other running backs in the NFL in there, and they would have probably all had a hell of a night. It was embarrassing, dude. That was embarrassing. I mean, that defense is so cooked.
Yeah.
It's just, God, that was tough to watch, man. It wasn't an NFL defense tonight. I know they got put in a couple of tough spots by the offense, but like, do we really think they were going to stop them? They made them punt one time all night. And the two things that just were absolutely brutal was the score that they let them score that touchdown before half after we finally answered the bell. And then at the end of the game, you march down, you have that great touchdown by Malik Willis, and then you let them go on like a 14-play drive for like 8 minutes and just cram it down your throat. I don't know why they even bothered throwing the ball one time. I have no idea about the pass rush. They didn't really get an opportunity. I watched from where I was Rashaan Gary get washed out. Just, man, I don't know what his PFF grade or whatever it'll be, but like I'm just sitting there watching and it's just like play after play. He's just getting destroyed. Kudos to Malik Willis. I still think that the offensive line is just miserable. I know they didn't have too many chances to run, but man, when they did, it was ugly.
Yeah.
And thankfully, we found a way to get that shotgun zone play on fourth down. There's a guy behind me yelling, like, if they run that shotgun zone run, I swear to God. On one of those fourth downs. Sure enough, whatever. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it was just kind of funny. Malik Willis is amazing. He's probably going to get a chance to start somewhere. But
well, he should.
Yeah, man. Let me call you right back. Hold on.
All right. Part 3 for Kyle.
Yeah, but I don't know what that looked like on television, but in person, and especially from that vantage point, that's a pretty embarrassing, pretty embarrassing performance by that defense, man. I can't. There's only a handful of games in recent memory that were that embarrassing defensively. I mean, that was just
usually playoff games, if I remember correctly.
Holy crap. The amount of disrespect that the Ravens had for that defense, they didn't care. They did not care at all. They didn't care about our corners. Why would they? They didn't care about our interior. Why would they? The only thing they cared at all a little bit about was our linebackers, but then like they were kind of doing just enough misdirection to get those guys out of the way. And then of course, what's his name? Huntley would just it was like the Red Sea parting for Moses up the middle anytime. Like, oh, it's a throw and they've got it covered. Well, don't worry, he's going to run it. Sure enough, you could drive that injury card that kept coming out. You could drive that through those holes, if not something larger. The highlight of the game today, defensively, well, maybe the second highlight was the woman winning the Chevy truck at like the third quarter, but I was going into this thinking that we had a chance to beat the Bears. And maybe we still do. I don't know. But even if Love plays that game, like maybe you get it. I don't know. I mean, Malik played great. I don't know if it matters when your defense is playing like that. And like his legs made up for some of the lack of protection. So, dude, I mean, I hate to say it, but like that looked like a team that was just cooked on defense. Just cooked. I mean, I just haven't seen effort like that in a long time. Just wow. I mean, and the crowd was into it, man. There just wasn't like they didn't give us much to focus on. I don't know if it's just the attrition. I mean, certainly that's part of it, but like, there's just a lot of guys that just aren't real good out there. And the ones that I think are good just don't seem to be getting the opportunities they need. And then the ones I don't even know about yet, like Van Ness, like he never even had a chance to rush the passer anyway because they never threw the damn thing. And I feel like this is going to be the recipe going forward. If you see the Bears again, I mean, do they even need to throw on us? Does anybody? I mean, after that, putting that on film, I don't know, man. I'd love to hear some good news from you, but it's hard to see, at least from what I saw in person. So. Hey, love y'all. Thanks for letting me vent and go back.
Yeah, I don't have any good news for you, unfortunately. Cat, what do you want? He's an outdoor cat, so he's not usually hyper like this, like all the stupid videos. Usually he just sleeps all day. Yeah, I don't have a lot of great. I mean, tomorrow we'll kind of go through and hopefully calm everything down a little bit It's more of a, things aren't great, but it's not impossible. It's not whatever. It just is what it is, and it's not more or less than that. But yeah, I mean, it was rough. I remember doing that live stream, one of the thoughts I had was we can't even use or maintain or take advantage of momentum. I mean, I remember at one point, I think I've mentioned it before, that Kingsley play in the backfield. That was the first time when it was like, okay, things are kind of moving in our direction. The defense is kind of playing fired up. Then the defense started like waving to the crowd, like get fired up, and the crowd started getting wild. And it's like, all right, here we go. This is like we got some immediately converted a first down, and it's like that's not how that's supposed to go. Like I've seen this before. I've seen this movie before. I've seen what momentum does, and that's not it. It's just that they just don't have what it takes. They just don't have. I don't know if it's the motivation or probably more so the talent that it just, these little things like momentum or whatever, it's useless for this team because it's not enough. And that was pretty, I mean, the whole thing was disheartening, but that was another thing where it's like, okay, so that doesn't work either. Got it. So just nothing then. Like nothing is going to make this work. That's wonderful. Glad to know that. Nate. I think we'll do Nate and we'll probably get out of here. Nate, what you got going on?
Hey, Ryan. This is Nate from the class again. I did just see something that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention. So the people that want to start Malik Willis are the same people that want to fire Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
I want you to think real deep and hard about how that can possibly with quite as good a sense. Thank you. Goodbye.
Kind of breaking up a little bit, so I couldn't understand all of that, but I think your point is probably correct. I think generally those are the same kinds of people. Those people always want something else. There's probably a high correlation between those people and the people that want us to go out and get Travon Diggs. And I think part of it is the type of fan that, number one, thinks we have the worst situation. Whatever we have right now is the worst. Everything that's different is better than us. And everything is not good enough. So the simple formula here would be Jordan is what we have. Therefore, he's not good. And he's certainly not good enough. And the other thing is going to be better. When it comes to Travon Diggs, we have the worst corners. Travon Diggs is better than our corners, and therefore we need to go do something, right? Because and we need it more than everybody else because we have the worst corners in the world. And of course these things are not true. It's not good, but it's not the worst, and it's not it's also it's just overvaluing everything everybody else has and undervaluing what we have. And it's not to say that it's wrong all the time in terms of like this isn't good or this isn't good enough, but it is usually wrong just in terms of like what we need to do and how bad things are, because it's such an overly simplistic view of everything. Everything is a disaster. Everybody needs to be fired all the time. Everybody needs to be replaced. Everything we have is bad and nothing's good enough. And and again, that isn't to say that maybe some of these things are true and maybe Matt's not the answer or whatever. I don't know. But there probably is going to be a large group of people that always are going to fall into that category because they just always fall into that, they're never going to like our GM. They're always going to want to fire everybody. I'm sure they wanted to fire Pettin. And, I was skeptical of that because I was worried of what was going to come, and they got their wish, and we got Joe Barry, and then they got excited until we didn't win Super Bowls, and then they wanted Joe Barry fired, and then we fired Joe Barry, and then they wanted somebody else, and then we go out and get Halfley, and now that's got the makings of at least starting to look quite unfortunate. especially to them, ironically. A lot of people are probably willing to give him some slack. Those people who called for it are probably the ones that are least likely to cut him any slack. They're also the people that wanted us to throw a ton of money at Rich Bisaccia because we need to go all in. Those are the all-in people. And we did that. We did exactly what they wanted, and it didn't work. They're the ones that wanted us to go get Micah, and we did, and he got hurt, and it didn't get us a Super Bowl. They have all the answers, and they're never right about anything. It's just a pattern I've noticed over the years. And I think a lot of it is just, it's this feeling that there's this easy solution out there. And if you just do the obvious thing, then everything would be fine. And then whenever they do the thing that you want, it's still the same thing all over again. So you need to stop thinking that there's just going to be this solution. There's just this thing that's going to fix everything, because there isn't. There isn't, there never is, and there never will be. And when we win the Super Bowl next time, it's probably going to surprise you. And it's probably not going to be because we had this terrible team and then we did this one thing and then everything was fixed. And then we were just great all the time. No, we're going to be a mediocre team, and then we'll be a good team, and then we'll be, a great team, but then we'll lose in the playoffs. And then next year we'll be a mediocre team and we'll win a Super Bowl. And then we'll come back next year and you would think, oh, now the, never happy fans are finally happy. Yeah, until 5 minutes later when we lose it. And then it's, you can't even sustain success. Look at the Patriots. They knew how, Bill Belichick knew how to do it. This coach can't do it. Coming off a Super Bowl, you'll get 5 minutes of grace from these people, and then they'll be right back to being miserable. So yes, there is a contingent that always wants the shiny object. They're always chasing after the shiny new thing. The people that are under the comment section of I'm not trying to make fun of you, beer cheese, because I know you haven't looked into it yet, but the comment section, pretty much everybody that is a national media person that covers this or whatever is coming out saying, nope, don't want him. And under that is just rationalizing. No, he's not good. Well, he's got to be better than what we have. No, he's not. Well, couldn't be much worse. Yes, he can be. Well, it's just always rationalizing. Always. It's just stop it. But the idea that this big name person wouldn't help our situation is baffling. Because again, he is a big name guy that the media has been telling you is great for a very long time, because the media likes to overinflate things because they're kind of stupid like that. And they cause 50% at least of the psychosis online, probably significantly more than that. Overhyping way too many people, but then also underestimating our situation. So Diggs is like a Pro Bowler. He is a legit player, and our guys are the worst corners in the history of the world, and so the answer is obvious. And it would be if you were right, but you're not. That's the problem. Anywho, appreciate all you guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.